Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ringside Ramblers podcast. I'm Alex. I'm joined on this episode by Rohit. And for this episode, we are going to be talking tag team wrestling. And we're going to be dissecting the tag divisions in each of the major promotions for WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we're going to just give a summary of the tag divisions, the state of it, what can be done to improve the tag divisions, what kind of standout teams are there, what teams might need to be pushed a bit more, that sort of thing. So a general summary of the state of tag team wrestling at the moment. So, Rohit, welcome to the show, and are you ready to ramble?
Hello, welcome. I'm happy to be here as always, and yeah, let's get rambling, shall we?
Yep, let's do this. So, tag team wrestling. It might not be a bigger thing as it was, say, like 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Let's start with WWE. So, what do you think is the current state of tag team wrestling in WWE, Rohit?
Um, there's clear signs of Triple H or the collective who's in charge to try and improve that, and I think we've just seen that recently with the arrival of the mostly machine guns, and also spoiler if but probably by then you probably already know they won the tag team titles as well. So there's a clear direction of them trying to get tag team wrestling to a state where it's maybe not the main focus, obviously it probably will never be, or it won't be as attractive as some of the other like divisions like the women's division or like the main event scene, but they're trying to get it to a place where people who enjoy tag team division like tag team wrestling are happy, and I feel like they're catered to. And with the arrival of the Motor Machine Guns and the rumored arrival at some point in the future, whether it's a couple of months time, of the Lucha Brothers, so I think they're okay now, and they're trying to do something to get it a lot better. So that's positive, I think.
Oh, we've lost you there, Rohit.
Oh,
But, oh no, you're back. Carry on.
okay. Oh, sorry. Well, I was just saying that like
He's gone
what
again.
the
No,
direction they're going in, it's like they're trying to improve it.
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I don't think the state of tag team wrestling in WWE has been very good for a while now. If I'm being
Yeah.
completely honest, Rohit, I
Hmm.
didn't even know who the WWE tag team champions were on SmackDown. I actually had no idea it was the Bloodline.
Wow.
Because,
Okay.
I mean, obviously I knew they won the belts,
Yeah.
but they haven't been featured in any feud bar the main feud with Cody and Roman, but that's nothing to do with the tag team championships. That is all about the main event scene and the WWE championship. Um, so I completely forgot they were the champions,
Yeah.
which
That's
isn't
true.
which isn't great, really,
No.
for your tag division on SmackDown, because they haven't been in any feud, any story for the belts. They just sort of won them, and that was it, really. And you're right. We're recording this on Saturday, the 26th of October. So the Motor City Machine Guns
Hmm.
did win the tag team championships last night on SmackDown. They're an awesome team. They're well seasoned. They've done it all in tag team wrestling. They're one of the best tag teams over the last 20 odd years. So let's hope they can add something good to the tag team championships on the SmackDown side of things. If we're talking about the Raw side,
Mm.
I did know that Finn Balor and JD McDonough are the tag team champions. I'm
Right.
pretty sure they still are. But
I think
again,
so. Yeah.
yeah. But again, they're never shown with the championships in a feud or a storyline. Their story, again, is with, or has been, with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, which has been a betrayal
Yeah.
storyline, to do with the Judgment Day, which again has nothing to do with the tag team championships. They just kind of get forgotten about. And I don't think JD and Finn actually defended the championships for a long time, like at least a month or something. So what I want really is for
Yeah.
some storylines. Give us some
For
proper
sure.
stories. You've got great teams like obviously Motor City Machine Guns. You've
Yeah,
got
the New Day.
Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins
Yeah,
on SmackDown as well.
DIY
DIY, exactly. You've got some tag teams in NXT that you could call up as well, and
for sure.
I
Creed
just want some.
Brothers. Yeah, a
The Creed
lot of
brothers,
teams
yeah,
they
the
have,
Good
and
brothers are
I
still
think
in
that's the
WWE.
I think that's the first thing they need to do is obviously get some tag teams established for people to care about. They've got the like raw materials there. They just need to like have the teams be engaged with the audience, and then they can set up the storylines.
Exactly. I don't know if it's a time issue because they have
Mhm.
so much else going on,
Yeah.
whether they just don't have the time to showcase tag team wrestling. But yeah, like you said, you have the players there to do it. You know,
Mhm.
the Street Profits are over.
Yeah,
Obviously, Motor City
that's
Machine
true.
Guns are over.
And I feel like yeah, you
You
can definitely do it.
the the Bloodline. You can the Usos, even if they get back together. You know, there's some great teams, so
Yeah.
you could tell some great stories with these teams, and they just haven't been doing it over the past couple of years. It's one of the low points, I'd say, of Triple H's regime, where in general most things have been really good, but tag team wrestling has not been one of them for me.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. It's like I said, it's been okay. Like as
Yeah,
like in terms of like the in ring product, but like the championships and the stories just have not been there. Like even like when the New Day were champions multiple times, it's like more of the collective trio. And I know they do the Freebird rules with them, but like it's like more of a trio and like having like a storyline for the faction or like the idea of what the New Day brings rather than the championships and like the championship is just like an addition because they have no other teams to hold those belts.
yeah,
Like the New Days
exactly
could
the
have done
same
half the
as
storylines without the belts.
exactly the same as the Bloodline and the Judgment Day,
Yeah,
both
for sure.
holding the championships over the past month or so, and the storyline has been with the faction, nothing to do with the championship. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's a general overview of WWE. It's okay, but it could be a lot better.
Yeah,
So
and I think they're doing the right things, potentially bringing in veteran tag teams who have been tag team wrestling pretty much the most of their careers in to maybe not only just like spice things up, but also maybe like teach other tag teams, give them pointers, and then obviously working with them in ring and in storylines, potentially that could help put them in the right direction. Whether or not it will, I don't know, but potentially.
for sure, I mean, the Motor City Machine Guns are a great
Yeah,
acquisition for the WWE. So they've got the belts now. So let's see what they can do. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to AEW, Rohit.
Mhm.
So what is your general overview of the tag scene in AEW? Are we thinking positive, negative, somewhere in the middle?
I think it's somewhere in the middle, but slightly on the lower scale. Again, similar to WWE, they got some teams there, like they got pieces there. But right now, I feel like the division is a bit cold, and again, the current tag team champions aren't really involved. They are defending the titles, but they're not involved in tag team storyline. And again, it's like the elite storyline,
Yeah,
like the
the Young Bucks
EVPs. Yeah.
are the tag team champions. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it's like again, when are you gonna push the tag teams? Like, if for example, while I get it, there was other things like injuries and other, but when the Hardys once they didn't, so if they are not winning it, how do you expect like Private Party to win the tag team titles or something? So yeah,
yeah. I agree in general with you, Rohit. I'm going to be a little bit harsh on this because
mm,
I think the state of tag team wrestling AEW is really cold at the moment. I don't
mhm,
think the Young Bucks have done anything of note since they won the tag team championships.
yeah,
They've been in this whole, evil, um, controlling EVP storyline, and it's just felt really flat
yeah,
because
that's
they
true.
don't seem believable. They'd rather just laugh and joke around rather than actually be serious and pose a viable threat to the AEW roster. You got a team like FTR, who are one of the best teams in the world and have been for at least 5 years, and they're doing nothing. Like,
Yeah,
what is going on with FTR?
for
They're in
sure.
this silly little faction with the Outrunners, and okay, it's cool. It's over a little bit with the fan base, but where's the meat and potatoes of this storyline? This is all just dressing. There's nothing
Yeah,
actually going on here,
it's
and
true. Yeah, I agree with that.
it's FTR are wasted. They're such an amazing tag team, and they're just wasted. They're just floundering, doing nothing of note,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it's a shame, really. Private Party seem to have gotten a bit more steam over the past couple of months, but I will ask the question: are Private Party in a better position now than when they debuted on Dynamite 5 years ago? I would say no. They've been with
Still
the
got the
company for
belts.
5 years and have just stayed where they are. They've
Yeah.
done nothing, again, nothing of note.
I'm pretty sure they've challenged for the tag titles at least, I think, like, what, 4 times, I think, over the years, I think.
Yeah, and
And
they have another shot next week, I
yeah,
believe.
and I feel like they have to win, but at the same time, I don't know what they're planning. Like, if they want the Bucks to be champions heading into Wrestle Dynasty, I don't even know, like, what the situation is with that, or like with other shows that AEW have coming up. So, but I feel like Private Party should win this time. And since we spoke about NXT, I feel like Ring of Honor has like a couple of good teams, but they're not being like transitioned onto the main AEW like roster or programming. Like you have the Gates of Agony, and they've been in Ring of Honor for so long. It's like, why aren't they bringing up? Yeah, they've had appearances on AEW programming here and there, but they're not doing much.
Yeah, Ring of Honor is a is a joke, really. If I'm
Hmm.
completely honest,
Yeah,
it's Tony Khan bought the Ring of Honor library just so he could show footage whenever he's building an AEW feud, because they have a lot of former Ring of Honor stars. So that, I mean,
yeah,
that's a completely different topic. But you're right. There are so many teams in the AEW tag division. You've got like Top Flight. You've got the Acclaimed.
yeah,
You've got Jay White and Juice Robinson if they want to go as a tag team. You've got like factions where you could have like Claudio Castagnoli and Pac from
yeah.
BCC. There's so many. So the House of Black, you could use two of those guys. So
Ex-
many talented
exactly, yeah.
teams,
And
and
as I mentioned, the Gates of Agony, like they were in World Tag League, they went to New Japan, and they became like super over. The fans liked them over there. They had some momentum. When they came back, you should have expected them to be used, but similar to when Lance Archer came back to New Japan for the G1. Afterwards, he had some momentum. Yeah, they didn't win, but they had some momentum. The crowd was like happy that they got a chance to wrestle, and they had some good matches. And when they came back, they did nothing. Like, why would you not capitalize on someone that's got free momentum?
yeah, exactly. I think this is a company wide thing at the moment in AEW,
Mm,
where booking is just all over the place.
yeah,
There's no continuity in storylines. There's no nothing really makes that much sense. You can't really invest in characters because they're there 1 minute and then they're gone the next. But that
yeah,
obviously bleeds over to the tag division with what's going on there. Like the Young Bucks, you said they're really, really cold at the moment. I don't think anyone really gives a shit about what they're doing at the
yeah,
moment, to be quite honest. So it'd
mm,
be a good idea, I
yeah,
think, to move those belts on to Private Party and just try to inject some kind of heat into the tag division.
yeah.
So
I think so.
I think it's similar to WWE, though, isn't it? I think we need
Yeah,
storylines and we need defined characters and feuds that people can invest in. and get behind.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't very positive at the moment, is it, Rohit?
No, not really, but that's how tag team wrestling has been. Like, it's been underappreciated in the Vince era, and I think because of that, like, since WWE has such a huge market share of the wrestling industry and so much outreach, it's like, oh, if they don't care about tag team wrestling, it means tag team wrestling doesn't really mean anything. So I think the general consumer is like, we don't really care either, so they're not gonna bother.
That's a great point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
So it's
And
like,
it's a shame because tag team wrestling can be absolutely phenomenal. You go back to the 80s with like the Rock and Roll Express and the Nasty Boys and the Horsemen and some of the Legion of Doom, some of the
Age of
great
Doom,
tag
Road
teams, and
Warriors, I think the Steiner brothers, I think as well, were the early '90s. But
yeah,
you get the pictures. Yeah, Hart Dynasty, or well, Hart Foundation, wasn't it? Yeah, Hart Foundation.
Heart Foundation, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of teams, yeah, and again, you've had a lot of stars come from teams. So just yeah, I don't understand why they're not pushing tag team wrestling more. I feel like, but yeah,
Yeah, and we fast forward even to the late 90s, early 2000s, where you have the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. And
yeah,
if you look at those teams, I think you have like four out of the six guys that all went on to be like world champions, maybe even five of the six guys.
five. Yeah, I think the only one that hasn't was Devon.
Was Devon, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, exactly. You got five world champions out of there, and they had great feuds themselves and fleshed out characters,
yeah.
great storylines. So it can be great. It just needs the right backing, the right booking. I think the people are there in both companies. You just need the creative direction.
100%, yeah.
So, I mean, let's. I don't watch a lot of New Japan. I have to be
Yeah.
honest, Rohi. I
No.
know you do.
Yeah.
You are the New Japan expert here at Ringside Ramblers. And can you be a bit more positive with New Japan, with the state of the tag team division over there?
um, short answer, kind of no.
Oh God,
That's the short
not
answer.
again.
Yeah, that's short answer. But I'm seeing some signs, like, it feels like New Japan sometimes forget about the tag team belts or they just don't care. But when they do put some effort in, it shows they know what they're doing and it can be good. For example, over the last few years, it wasn't, I think, especially since after the early 2010s when they had like multiple top teams that they could feud for the tag team titles at that point, like Killer Elite Squad, which was Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. You had Gallows and Anderson there. You had Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tenzan, Tenkoji, who was also like still really good back then. So you had like a lot of top tag teams vying for the belts, and it was really good. And after after that, it's like New Japan's been struggling with the division where they only had like maybe like one established tag team, and we went always through the cycles. First it was Gallows and Anderson where they win the belts, defend it a couple of times, lose it. Whoever beat them would defend the belt a couple of times. Eventually face Gallows and Anderson, lose it back to them, and so on, so on. And they would do that for a few years. And when they left, it was Gorillas of Destiny that kind of did the same thing. And when Gorillas of Destiny left, it's like, what do you do then? And just before they left, they were trying to build something. I feel like with Aussie Open, and we know how that ended up with. They ended up having injuries, and they signed with AEW instead. So it's like they missed an opportunity there with them. But having said that, right now, um, they've done great job re-establishing TMDK because they've been around New Japan for a
You
while.
there,
It's like,
Rohi?
sorry.
Sorry, you said right now.
Oh,
What's
sorry.
the?
Right now, with TMDK, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols, who are the dual champions of the IWGP Tag Team Champions and the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions, they really trying to push them, and it's like they've been around for a while, but never really used them. But now they're trying to push them, and now they have Bishamon as well on the side, and it's like they're trying to establish a couple more tag teams where they can tell these stories, where they can create these feuds to push the tag team division. And Yeah, and I think it's potentially positive if they keep this up. And with World Tag League on the horizon, we potentially could see some more. And what I do find interesting in terms of future proving their tag team division, they have two young lions that went onto excursion together, which was Oscar Leuber, the big German, and what's his name? I think it was Nakajima was his name. And they've been normally when they go on an excursion, they go separate, but they've been as a tag team gone on an excursion, which I find very interesting. So yeah.
So, I mean, judging by what you said, there's obvious potential.
Hmm.
Um, Again, it's a similar kind of thing where
Yeah,
they might just not be showcasing as well as they could or
for
should.
sure. For
So
sure. And it's
it's
it's slightly
sure.
different also because being a Japanese promotion, it's like they have the very traditional mindset and they try not to stray too much away from tradition because the fans really like it. And the issue in terms of the tag team situation is they also have a junior heavyweight tag team divisions where they again have two or three teams which are really good. And I think if they could combine and make one division, it would instantly make the tag team division so much better. But I understand why they don't do that, so it's a bit of a tricky spot in that regard. But again, the junior tag team division with Super Junior Tag League going on right now, it's pretty good. It's pretty positive at least. I think it's slightly better than the heavyweight tag team division at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, where would you compare it in terms of WWE and AEW? Obviously, different promotions, different styles, different booking styles. I mean,
Mm.
is it a bit more enjoyable to watch the
I
tag
think,
division?
yeah, I think so because I feel like with New Japan they do care. It's just like sometimes it's I feel like the treatment is a little bit of an afterthought, but in terms of like the storylines, how they book the matches, and the quality of the matches usually is pretty good. Like last year, pretty much towards the most of the year, we had Catch 2-2, which is TJP and Francisco Acura feuding with the champions, who at the time was the War Dogs, Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, and they had some great matches, great storytelling. Um, I think it was before their Wrestle Kingdom match earlier this year. I think they had like a singles casket match between TJP and Drilla Maloney, and Drilla Maloney beat one, and he went on around saying, "Oh, I killed TJP. He's gone. We don't have to defend our titles because there's no one to defend it to." And that's when TJP debuted like this monster character, really. So
See,
yes, I
that's
feel like
really cool.
yeah,
Like, it's a proper story.
for sure.
And
Go on.
I was just saying, like you mentioned with the one-on-one, you can have one-on-one matches, really great one-on-one matches that come out of these tag feuds. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine, for example, I don't know, Jacob Fatu versus like Montez Ford on SmackDown? Like, that would be a great match to watch.
100%, yeah. And like I said, I think what New Japan do well is like when you have multi-man tag matches or even like single matches and they've got like tag team ramifications, it's like they know how to tell it. And yes, for some people they may be like, where is the story? Because they don't see like the glitz and glamour, they don't see the video packages, or they're not used to the way Japan does things. They're used to the WWE stuff, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just if you understand the subtleties and you can see the story, that just tell simple stories that work. And you do get some extravagant storyline, like I just mentioned with the Catch 22 and the War Dog story, and which carried on into like the United Empire and Bullet Club War Dogs cage match that they had as well over the years. So yeah, they have a lot of good stories. I feel like that they can tell, and like I said, the quality of wrestling, especially in the junior tag team division, is a lot better. So yeah,
Yeah, I think the general consensus from all three really is that the players are there. They have
yeah,
great tag teams at the ready, but the booking and the creative and the lack of storylines is really holding it back.
yeah,
It could be great, but at the moment they're kind of just meandering through doing whatever really with nothing really of substance going on, which is a shame for tag team wrestling really, especially
ex-
yeah
yeah,
fans of
exactly.
fans who love tag team wrestling and watch wrestling specifically to watch tag team wrestling. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
bit of a negative show today, Rohit, but
I know.
we've
And here's a quick question. It's like, when was the last time the main tag team championship have like main evented a big show, like even a pay-per-view or PLE, if you will?
oh my god, I
Exactly, and that
I couldn't
shows
tell
you.
you.
That shows you, yeah, at least with like I know in New Japan some of the shows, or like shows that like tours, because they're a touring company. When they go on like tours, they sometimes have more than one big show, and sometimes the tag team titles have been on like the main event or semi-main event, or if they are defended on the smaller shows, they tend to be the main event. So there is that. Whereas like, I feel like with WWE, unless it's a house show, even like rarely on Raw and SmackDown these days, they're like the main event. Occasionally too, but like you said, they're the main event usually because they're in the Judgment Day storyline or the Bloodline storyline, or not
Yeah,
because they're the tag team champions.
yeah. I mean, the last great feud I remember over the tag team championships was probably Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos, but again, that was more really
Yeah,
bloodline. So we're probably going
yeah,
even further back and looking at the Usos versus the New Day. And
yeah,
in AEW, probably the Bucks against Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, or like
yeah,
maybe the Acclaimed against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. It's been a long time.
yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
100%. And yeah, like you said, with the House of Black being there, it's like you got the pieces. It's just I don't know what they're trying to do with some of these teams, and yeah, I just don't know.
yeah. Sorry, you cut off a little bit there, but yeah, you
As
mentioned
yeah,
the House of Black, and I think you're just saying like there's so many teams there that they can
yeah,
use, and yeah, absolutely agree. So yeah, there you have it. That was our overview and thoughts on tag team wrestling today. Not one of our most positive shows, but
no,
we
but
we have to
this,
be honest, and
yeah, but disclaimer,
yeah,
this doesn't reflect the whole world. I'm sure there's promotions and independent promotion. Maybe down in Mexico, they probably have like maybe a better state of their tag team division. So, but in terms of like the big, what you could call the big three, I suppose,
yeah,
like it's not their priority at the moment. It's not that great looking, but again, I feel like this, at least with WWE and New Japan at the moment, at least, it seems that they're trying to do something to make it better. With AEW, I'm not too sure if they're even trying at the moment. So,
I don't think they're trying with a lot of stuff, but yeah,
yeah,
um,
fair.
yeah, but there's potential for sure. So yeah, we'll leave it at that, Rohit.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you to everybody for watching, and please don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Ringside Ramblers, and give our YouTube page a follow and subscribe. Again, same handle, Ringside Ramblers. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode, Rohit. Great job as always.
Thank you, always a pleasure. Yeah, and good hosting.
Thank you very much,
Got
and
to
we will
give you your
see
flowers.
everybody. We'll see everybody next time for another Ringside Ramblers podcast. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.